you did the Mark Ritson mini MBA in marketing.
Good.
Would you be happy to do a compare and contrast? Because I have my own views,
Yeah,
and
of course.
I'd love to know how was it, and how does it differ to Fabric?
Yes. So I did Mark Ritson as part of my competitor research. That's the reason I did it.
I'm doing
And
something very similar at the moment, but I'll tell you after it's all done, just in case they kick me
okay,
off. But I agree with you.
interesting. But yeah, I mean, when we do competitor research, we do it really in depth, and it was
Same.
important for me that I did study as a learner on many different courses to be able to compare and
I love
contrast.
this. I love that you're doing that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it's
Um,
both shady and not. And I because I'm doing exactly the same as we speak. So I embrace the hustle, Lisa. I love it. Carry
I'm
on.
very open and honest about that. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I would love people to go and do fabric and be inspired to build something bigger and better that suits them. I mean, no such thing as competition. I'm all about collaboration. So for me, that's the best way to learn. I did it in the midst of lockdown whilst I was juggling one business which was dying a death with these insane overheads, whilst I was building another business and getting it off the ground, and whilst I was homeschooling two kids. So trust me when I say it was not the easiest thing to start and do an MBA at the same time. But I loved it for a couple of reasons. I love Mark Ritson. I know he's very Marmite, but I just love how blunt and ballsy and opinionated he is. And he does not give a shit whether you like his opinion or not. You don't have to agree with it, but I love that he's so direct and honest with his opinions. I loved it because I love learning. So any type of learning, I mean, if I could spend every day just learning and not having to work, I'd just do that constantly. So I loved it for the reason that I was able to just embrace myself back in the world of a marketing learner, and really be a student again. And I loved it because it gave me so much insight into what somebody very successfully was doing with their online
From the
course.
academic viewpoint.
Yeah. The things I wasn't so keen about it was the training structure for me was still very academic. So Mark obviously is he is a lecturer.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around all of the big universities. He lectures regularly. It still felt very academic, just with his own spin on it. And the structure of the course that you go all the way through the program and submit an exam at the end,
Mm-hmm.
still for me felt very academic. We had already planned the way fabric would work, and we were actually in prototype phases by the time I did this piece anyway. So it's not that we used that course to change our own,
Mm-hmm.
because we'd already planned the structure, but it certainly did cement to me why we were very different to what Mark offers. And I think his program is great. I would always recommend it. I think it's brilliant learning for anybody. But for those people who actually want to do a piece of work, a live piece of work, and they want to be helped and coached
Mm-hmm.
because it's lonely out there doing it on your own,
Yeah.
that course isn't for that. And Fabric is for that. So we are there to help you build a life strategy for the organization you're in. So you're doing this practical piece of work whilst you're on the course. You're not getting through it and
Mm-hmm.
submitting an exam. And you can't go too far through the program without us seeing it and feeding back. So you can't go wrong at the beginning. There was places and the people who I was in the community with on Mark Ritson's who got quite low grades and they were really disappointed, but it was because they'd gone really wrong right at the very beginning and they just couldn't catch it up further through. So I'm a big fan. I'm actually contemplating doing the brand management
I
one.
know someone that's done it. Apparently, it's good.
Yeah, not for competitor research as such anymore, but just because any opportunity to learn is a good opportunity. And, for me as a marketing practitioner, I have to make sure I'm at the forefront of those trends and techniques and, the learning skills and styles out there. So yeah, I would say if you're considering it, it's a great course to do. And particularly if you like the academic style, I think it's great.
I'm with you that there's a big difference that the way a traditional university MBA works, they have marketing modules. Porter's Five Forces, they'll teach you all the theory. You write a paper, 3,000 words, on how you apply the stuff. It's got nothing to do with actually doing anything. And they're just completely different. Hi, Chris,
Yeah.
as well. Hi, Shauna. And I'm with you, so I love the sound of yours, but I do love the shady research. That's made my day. Because what's interesting though is that often without competitive research, you don't know who else offers whatever. And then likewise, say on imposter syndrome, you would think, well, actually, why should anyone care about mine? You know what I mean? Why do I think I can do it better than Mark Ritson? But
Yeah.
it's because you have different lived experience, you have a different viewpoint, and that's, you know, either you want that or you want this, but that's cool. On the chap himself, I'm ironically, I really respect his stuff. So when he does on YouTube, like once or twice a year, different marketing awards where they go through and give case studies, big American brands and stuff. I love that. I think that's great. But on LinkedIn yesterday, he called out and kind of ridiculed a VP at Unilever because he was talking about brand archetypes, and Mark was like, "That's bullshit."
Yeah.
That to me is bullying on a mass scale, and he had 1,000 people jump on it to agree with him. But how do you feel if you're that vice president at Unilever who loves marketing, I guess, and it's that I don't like?
But, I guess that is challenge at its biggest form, isn't it? I mean, if you put an opinion out there, you've got to be open to people to disagree with that opinion or have a challenging opinion or have just something completely different. And I think, I don't know if this is something that just comes with age or confidence or, having been there and done that. But I think if you're willing to put an opinion out there, you have to be willing to take the challenge. And it's good not to always agree with people.
Yeah.
A difference of opinions, diverse opinions is what makes the world go round. So I do agree that he has a force behind him, and sometimes that's potentially used in the wrong way. But I do also really respect the fact that he will just stand up for his opinion and call it out if he thinks it's different. So yeah, he's a Marmite character, isn't he? He's not everybody's cup of tea.